This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward. The pandemic was raging, our economy was reeling, but we acted together. Now, 2 years in, it's clearer than ever that our plans work, and we're building the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not just the top down.
President Biden marked 2 years in office today by celebrating his accomplishments and reflecting on the crisis our nation has faced during that time. But in the second half of his term, the president will face a new set of challenges, but this time with a Republican-controlled House. With me to discuss, celebrated author and presidential historian Michael Beschloss. His latest work in a bookshelf full of works is Presidents of War. Michael, it is always so good to see you. You know, so much has changed.
Same here, Alicia. Thank you.
So much has changed since President Biden took office, just short 2 years. What stands out to you about that period of time?
Well, he's gotten a lot of very important laws passed, maybe more important than any president in half a century, or at least back to Lyndon Johnson, even a little bit more than that. But I think the main thing I would say, Alicia, is, and forgive me, this is what historians do, you know, let's go back to 2 years ago last night, October 19th, 2021, when Donald Trump was still president. Joe Biden had yet to come in. Remember what that was like. That was 13 days after the insurrection and attack on Congress that we now know could have led to martial law and confiscation of voting machines, violence, assassinations of leaders of Congress. That's what we had 2 years ago. We also had a terrible pandemic with a president who was making governors in the United States beg for help and who was talking on television about injecting bleach as a way of overcoming it. And at the same time, presidential leadership that was erratic and egotistical, autocratic, a president who went before the United Nations, as you might recall, and was laughed at, and also our rule of law was in jeopardy. That was 2 years ago. And what I would say tonight is something that Franklin Roosevelt said to Americans on the radio in 1934, and Ronald Reagan did in 1980 on television, asked Americans. So if I might paraphrase, if I could ask all of our friends who are watching, you know, are you better off than you were 2 years ago? My answer would be, this has not been a perfect presidency, and I've studied almost all of them. I've never seen a perfect presidency, but let's look at the main things. Presidential leadership under Biden has been more steady. Policies much more mainstream, much more shared by a large number of Americans than they were 2 years before. Rule of science. This is a president who believes in science, not things like injecting bleach. We are safer from disease. And most importantly, our rule of law has been restored. Our democracy is safer. As we look at it tonight, our elections are less in danger, and the future of democracy is a lot brighter than it was 2 years ago. That's not all of Joe Biden's doing, but it has made a very big difference that he has been there.
It strikes me, Michael, that we in the press corps are constantly talking about 2024 and when the president will make a decision and pushing forward 2 years into the future, when today is an opportunity for people like us, for the president himself, to reflect back on the 2 years of his presidency. I know that you have advised him in the past. Your sense of how he is thinking, how he is reflecting on this chapter?
Well, I have talked to him in the past, and I always preface it by saying, I'm not here to give advice, which would be pathetic. You know, I've got enough problems sitting in my room writing books. So all I can do is look at parallels in the past. But I think one thing he's got to deal with, just as you've been talking about much of this hour, and I've really enjoyed the conversations that I've been watching between you and the others, and that is he's going to deal with a Republican House that, by most indications, is going to be a freak show. And I'm not just talking about George Santos. We've never seen a situation in all of American history where a speaker is in a situation that's almost like the Gong Show. One Republican member of Congress can say, I don't like the speaker, let's have a vote. You know, we're going to have something that is much more like parliaments in other countries where we may see leaders changing all the time, very unstable, something we're not accustomed to. And I think if that is something that makes us nervous, I would say two things. Number one, If the Republicans had gotten a 40-vote majority in the House, as some were predicting, this would be something where we would be going down a roller coaster that would be, very treacherous and very unsteady. But got a Democratic Senate, President of the United States, with 50 years he has had of experience in democracy back to when he was a young senator. So the result is going to be, I think, that we may see a year that looks much more like 1995, when the Republicans took Congress by a huge majority. Or perhaps 1947, when what Harry Truman called the good-for-nothing 80th Congress came into office. And I think it is at least possible that people will look at the distinction between the chaos in the House versus whatever a Democratic Senate does and a Democratic president, whoever is the Democratic nominee in 2024 may be like Bill Clinton in 1996, in that people will say, we saw what Congress has been doing under Republicans. We didn't like it. We need a president to make things steady.
And those are the challenges we can anticipate, to say nothing of crises that could be on the horizon that we cannot. Michael Beschloss, as always, thank you so much for your time.